Hey y'all, welcome back to Barns and Farms with a side of cornbread, where we serve up real talk with real women doing big things, all with a dash of Southern charm. I'm your host, Shane Hollifield, realtor by day and cornbread connoisseur by heart. Today we're pulling up a chair for some conversations with some incredible women. We're talking grit, grace, and a little gravy on the side. Grab your sweet tea and settle in, and let's get to it. We're here with Amy Steele and Sarah Stokes. And these two ladies are the founders of Thrive WNC Women's Entrepreneur Network. That's a mouthful in its own. So y'all welcome, and I just have a couple of questions for y'all, and then we'll do some talking.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
All right. First, let's find out how y'all met each other.
Yeah. Okay. We have a common friend, Amanda Evans Marsh, and she lives in Marshville. Well, she lives in Peachland, I guess.
Yeah.
North Carolina is east of Charlotte, and I live part-time in the Charlotte area and part-time in the Asheville area. My husband lives here, and I live there. Amy is also friends with Amanda, and she connected us because she knew that both of us live in Western North Carolina, and we just hit it off.
Yes. I was drinking my coffee one morning, just kind of scrolling the Instagram, and I loved what Amanda was doing on her page, and I just kind of reached out to her and asked her for a couple of tips. That's what I've learned through this whole process. You know, if you don't ask, you'll never know. So just ask the questions.
Don't be afraid to ask.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, and then she mentioned Sarah to me and said, you know, Sarah spends a lot of time in Asheville. I know you're close to Asheville also. I'd love to connect you guys. So, and then I think within an hour, you messaged me, Sarah.
I did.
And then, and then we had a coffee date that Saturday. I think that was like on a Thursday.
Awesome.
And then,
Awesome.
yep.
She had told me about you maybe a month or two before that. And I was like, yes, I need to get with her at some point. So that was divine timing because it just must have been out.
It worked out.
Yeah,
for sure.
I feel like I've known y'all forever, so
Yeah. Oh, good.
that's good. Y'all are very personable. So
Thank
I'm
you.
going to hop right to it and get to the mission statement, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the group.
So Thrive WNC Women's Entrepreneur Network exists to fuel the growth of women-owned businesses through powerful connections, real support, and shared success. We bring together driven women across Western North Carolina to network with purpose, build lasting partnerships, and grow both personally and professionally. Confidence grows when you feel supported and you're not alone. So we really want to make ladies, you know, feel that way, feel like they're welcome, feel like they have a place to connect and come to.
Thank you, Amy, for that mission statement. And it answered a couple of the questions that I have for y'all already. But y'all just tell me a little bit about what prompted this networking group. And did you feel personally a need for this? Is that how it started? Like from your own experience?
I thought so. I think that support means a lot. When I started Peak Wellness and Aesthetics, I felt like I was kind of out there alone, trying to figure all the things out. And even from the very beginning with Noble and Company, you guys welcoming me into that space. I don't know if I'm sure you remember that time. That was a big race.
The Black Mountain Marathon, yes.
It meant a lot. At the time, I was brand new to the whole business world, had no idea which direction to go in, honestly. I mean, I did. I knew, you know, my passions and which directions I wanted to go in, but just that moment of you guys making me feel like I was supported and important and what I had to offer, you know, was a big deal to the community, meant a lot. So, and I just wanted to make a space for that for other women as well.
That's awesome. That's such a good way to, I don't know that we've actually talked about it together, but for me, I left my family business, a mortgage company. I'm a lender, and I worked with them for many years and decided it was time to go out on my own. And it's exciting to go out on your own, but also it's a little scary. Mm-hmm. So in the Charlotte area, I have a nice network of women with that Amanda Marsh, Evans Marsh that we were talking about. She started all of it. And then I'm in a couple other groups with Kristen Rapoli and Jessica Biggers and Marina. I don't know if I'm going to do her name justice. Ludovac Lilac. Mm-hmm. And all these women help lead other groups that I'm in. They've become sort of like a second family to me and really boosted me and helped me in my business. And I just want other women to know how that feels, because I'm sure I'm sure other women go through trials and hard times and building their business from the ground up and having to restart at 47 years old
or 50. Yeah.
I was in my 40s too.
Yeah. So it's important. Actually, these women have become my actual real friends too. So I want other people to have friends. I think I've heard it's hard to make friends when you're an adult. Maybe not you because you're so outgoing. You probably have.
I don't know. Y'all see one side of me. I have another side too. I'm the one that's like with my hat and sunglasses on in the grocery store trying to just get my list. So you never know. It depends on the day with me. But thank you for that compliment. And I think that no matter how successful or if you're just starting or if you've been in business forever, I feel like support from other women especially is a wonderful thing. What goals do y'all individually see for the Thrive Women's Group? Just to,
sky's the limit.
Yeah, so let's just ask y'all a couple of questions and then we'll get to the cornbread because
that's important.
You gotta have cornbread in this podcast, no matter what we're talking about. So Amy, was there a moment on your journey where you thought, Lord help me, what have I gotten myself into?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, I still have moments like that because it is hard out there. It is scary to put yourself out there and be vulnerable and, feel even rejected at times. I had a passion to open Peak Wellness and Aesthetics because I wanted to provide treatments to ladies that made them feel good and look good. That piece of rejection is always there. I mean, it can be.
Yeah.
So not everybody has the same visions as I do, and sometimes don't really understand the things that I offer. So, that can be challenging. And I think that's the importance of having a group like this. You have someone behind you, a group of ladies that yes. So even on your worst days, when you do feel the rejection, or the self-doubt or, the times where you just wonder, what have I done?
And I'm going to ask Sarah, what lit a fire under you to do what you do? And did anyone try to throw water on it?
Yes. Yeah. So it's funny because it kind of goes back to the same thing that Amy said. I think, people disappoint you when you put all your hope in people and then they reject you or you can't count on them, then you have to figure it out. And when you figure it out and you're all alone, it's like, wait a minute, I need some help. So that was the fire that got lit under me because I needed some help.
Yes.
And I think that God put certain people in my life like Amanda and Kristen, who started me less than a year ago doing a couple of groups. And those women became the people that really propelled me forward and continued to support me even when I was in a big, kind of down on myself. So that's my fire. Now that they've done that for me, my fire is to do that for other women. I want to keep the cycle going.
Pass it forward. That's great.
I love it.
That's great.
And I feel that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people, I guess if you let people, they'll pour water on your fire. But I think with a network of women who love you or, people, a network of people who support you, then that it doesn't matter as much because they can help you.
Just shake it off. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I feel like we all have felt that. And one of the reasons that I love hanging out with you ladies so much is that y'all give it all to God. And that's sort of where it comes from. I mean, we hope to follow in those footsteps, but that's where it ultimately comes from. So yeah.
That's where our strengths come from for sure.
All right. So this one's for both of you, and you can, whichever one wants to go first is fine. Ever had a moment where you wanted to quit and open a goat farm in the mountains?
My daughter would love that. Leah, if you're listening, you love your goats. Yes, I think so. I think I have a little bit of introvert.
Yeah.
Like I've been called a social introvert many times by different people. So I can easily probably start a goat farm and but then I need that social piece as well. So yeah, what about you, Sarah?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have talked about it. In fact, I think we talked about with Tara over at Perry Social House and said, oh yes, I could get the camper and we could buy the land and then our master plan will come together in my homestead where I live way out in the country.
For sure.
But I still need people. So, but I would say that's just a goal in life. It's not necessarily because I've been overwhelmed or disappointed, but maybe that's where it started.
Maybe.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. I get it. I get it. Who wouldn't want to have a farm in the mountains? I mean,
Right.
that was sort of a trick question.
Exactly.
But all right. So I have another one for both of y'all. How do you pass the torch, or at least lend someone your lighter?
Mhm.
And I feel like maybe you're doing that with this group.
Yeah, I do. I see a meme or something on Facebook, and I think I even shared it. Where it just was talking about sharing what you've learned, as you're going through those struggles, and as you're growing as a woman, and a business owner, a mom, a wife, whatever. There's always that other person that can use that encouragement to let them know that it is possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just maybe with social media this week, I went to a Women Trusting Women event in Charlotte, and they had a social media expert, and she just gave a lot of hints about social media, and I passed that along to Shane and Amy, and of course, like Amanda has taught me so much about social media. So just sharing information, like you said, Amy, just sharing information is how you just pass the torch.
And it's great because everybody has their own special little, niche or whatever. So, I mean, get a bunch of women together that give them more knowledge is a great thing.
I feel like you do it, Shane, with your connections. You share your connections with us, and
You do.
and that's helping all those women too.
So, all right, we're going to get to the cornbread questions. Amy, savory or sweet?
Oh, sweet, 100%. Yes, I love me some sweet cornbread. Yeah, my husband will laugh and like, you're gonna eat all that cornbread? I said, yeah, I'm gonna eat all that cornbread. I have 2 pieces. So yes, so I had some sweet cornbread at the Country Fiddle on Sunday with my fried chicken.
Nice.
I love some good healthy eating, but I also love some country cooking as well. So
Sundays are the best days for country cooking.
They
I
are.
believe. I cook breakfast only on Sundays, and I usually cook a good meal on Sunday. So it's a Southern thing to do.
it is.
Yes,
It
on
is.
Sunday.
Yeah, you, Sarah, sweet or savory?
Savory, 100%. My grandma used to make cornbread cakes. What are they called? Johnny cakes?
Johnny
called?
hoe cakes, Johnny cakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the cast
hoe
iron skillet with some fat back.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I think she made them about 3 or 4 times a week.
Mhm.
Then my other grandma would make a cake, and it was savory also, and it was delicious. And my daddy would eat cornbread and milk. Y'all ever heard of
Oh
cornbread?
yeah.
Buttermilk.
Yep.
I think the buttermilk was the big deal.
Yeah.
I ask everybody these questions, and the last question I usually ask on the podcast is, what comes to mind when you hear the word cornbread? And several of them have had cornbread and buttermilk or cornbread and milk
Cornbread
in
and milk.
the memory.
Yeah.
So tell us a memory of when it comes to cornbread, what comes to mind when you hear this?
My Granny Meacham, she was my step grandmother, and she always cooked. She had 10 children. There was always something cooking in her kitchen, and she would do that. She would eat the buttermilk and the cornbread. She'd put it in the little bowl and just kind of mix it all together. And with the fat back, my Granny Pressler, I would just grab cooked fat back as a child, a small child, running through the kitchen
Just
to the trampoline. Yes.
Good whole food.
That's a good memory.
It is.
Great memory. All right, Sarah, what about your memory? What does cornbread make you think of?
My daddy, just it was a treat for him. It was like dessert for him on occasion. He'd say, "Oh, my mama," we called her Mama, would on occasion bake him a whole cornbread cake, and he'd go pick it up. He'd bring it home, and he'd make cornbread and milk. Sometimes he'd drink it or not drink it, but eat it out of a glass. I don't know.
Always out of a glass in my family. Always. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's
Cereal was out of a glass too, I have to admit.
Okay.
So we're a little weird. All right, ladies. Well, thank y'all so much for spending time answering a few questions.
Thank you.
And we'll roll right on into Meg and her wonderful knowledge that she has to share with us.
So good.
All right, thank you
so much.
Yep. And she's a woman who embodies grit, purpose, and a deep commitment to nourishing people and the planet.
You work for Heifer Project International, and I don't know how to say that word. Something Mexico. What?
Oaxaca.
What place in Haiti?
Lacayas. Yeah.
So she's brilliant too and speaks multiple languages. Okay. She's been feeding people and all over the place, right? Sustainable agriculture and
Journey didn't stop there. After a 6-month trek through Southeast Alaska,
Yeah.
where you backpacked through the
Yeah.
wilderness, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. And
So,
then she made her way to Asheville.
so it led her to Foothills,
Yes.
where she is one of the only women butchers in the country, right?
There are very few.
And we're just so glad to have her here. So look on your Instagram. If you have not followed Meg, you have to request her because she's like super special.
And her name is Nickelback that ass up.
So the first real food podcast that I did was about 5 years ago with Casey McKissick, who owns this company, and talked about sustainable agriculture. It was North Carolina Food and Bev podcast. It was while Chow Chow, the food festival, was happening in town. And I felt like a very big adult lady, which doesn't happen very often. And at the very end of the podcast, after talking about sustainable agriculture and closing the gap and local farms, they asked me what my Instagram handle was so that I could share it with people on the podcast. And I was like, oh! And I changed my Instagram handle to Meat Mama because I was like, that's more accessible to the people. And then I had an awakening. I ended up changing it back after 2 weeks because I realized that you are more than your job and that sometimes you can let funny things be funny. But I also made it private so I could have a part of me that was not my job.
Yeah.
But yeah, just goofy stuff. I was only embarrassed for like a second. I'm learning to not be embarrassed.
She knows how to deadlift because homegirl not only is a butcher, but she's also teaches classes and power.
I'm a competitive power lifter and I coach Olympic
like
weightlifting.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
At a really awesome gym in the River Arts District in Asheville called Strength Ratio.
We have some questions that I think might help, and then you can do some Q&A. Is that okay?
Yeah, totally.
We can do Q&A after that. You guys have like a real celebrity that lives here in Black Mountain. I think so. I mean, I'm telling you the truth. The people in so I live part-time in Charlotte and part-time here. So that's why I am so blessed to be here. So thank you so much for welcoming me. So a couple of questions that we have kind of prepared. Number one, so you've built a reputation in one of the most male-dominated industries out there. What mindset or belief has helped you keep showing up and leading with strength over and over?
I think it's something that we probably all experience in our fields. Which is that, like, especially if you're in a male-dominated field or even in general, women are kind of trained to pit themselves against each other and never show any weakness. And honestly, I don't feel like I started to thrive in this industry until I started looking at the women that I was working with as like pillars and people to help me learn. And when I started looking at my job and everybody new that came in, not as a threat, but as somebody to learn from and work with, we're like it's really ingrained in us to like compete against each other and like size up against each other to the point that like in the beginning of my career, I feel like whenever a woman would walk into the shop to work there, the last shop I worked in that was all male dominated, I would size her up. And that's not the moment I stopped doing that. And the moment I was like, this is my friend,
Right.
and we need to work together, I feel like everything just kind of.
I think like drop the mic.
Yeah.
That's so good. Like, let's do that. Let's do that here. Let's do that from now on. Let's
Yeah.
just, yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Do you want to-
sure.
Okay, so when you're facing some burnout and some self-doubt,
Mhm.
what's kind of your go-to?
Not to like be super repetitive, but just like knowing that like not knowing everything is not a fault. Like it's opportunity for growth, you know? And like for me, like I use physical exercise a lot. So making sure that I'm keyed in at the gym. If y'all's job is a lot of your work, making sure you have something outside of your job that is something you can put yourself into. That's what the gym is for me. And having a community outside of your work community, especially as entrepreneurs and people that, you know, you don't really know when you're really clocking in or clocking out. Having a thing that's like yours is really important, I think.
Yeah.
Got you, girl.
So, sweet or savory cornbread?
Okay, so savory, but I also have a thing about that. If you are a savory person and you say you're savory, you have to be cool with realizing that you're just a sweet person that also likes salt. Because savory is just sweet with salt. They're not different.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you hear the word cornbread, what comes to mind immediately?
The song by or the Carolina, it was a cornbread and butterbean and you across the table.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the song. That's what happens.
All right,
Yeah.
good.
That
All
is
right,
the
all right.
What about you guys? Do you guys have any questions for her?
I got more.
What's your goal for moving forward?
So I feel like, so I am 33 years old. Fun fact. So entering my 30s, I feel like my goals look a lot different than my 20s. My 20s was very much like shoulders down, barrel forward, like add boundaries, see how much you can get done. 30s are all about sustainability, boundaries. And I am personally in the process of buying my first house. I close on the 15th. It's in Old Fort. It's right near the watershed, which is our new location we're going to be opening up. So any of y'all that are Black Mountain or Old Fort, or honestly Asheville, because it is such a wonderful spot, keep your ear out about that. Please watch our social media. It is going to be such an incredible spot. It's a mountain biking park. It's an outdoor hangout with the Catawba River runs through it. They're going to have food.
Tacos.
We're going to have all the good things, and it'll be 2 minutes away from my new house, so pretty awesome. But really, like, working towards finding that balance where you can continue to strive in the workplace while also like replenishing yourself, you know, because that's like, it's a hard balance to find, and honestly, I don't think you find it till your 30s. I'm pretty sure that's when you do
You
that.
have to live through some things.
You gotta like do this stuff, or maybe more. I don't know. I'm not really there yet, so I don't know.
How the heck did you get into being a butcher? Like,
So I started out by farming. I say, so most butchers come from, like, there are two different spaces you come from. You're either like a chef that didn't want to work reactively anymore and wanted to work proactively, or you're like a farmer that came inside. So I was a farmer that came inside. I worked at a grass-fed beef farm in central Massachusetts through my early 20s. I ended up moving here. I really wanted to work my way through the food chain and kind of find where the gap was and how to fix it. I was a huge social justice advocate. I was big in food not bombs and like feeding people. I was like a little like 20-year-old like food anarchist baby. And coming into Asheville to further my agricultural education through Warren Wilson, I decided to start working through that process. So I was like, butchery is the first step. And I ended up working for Foothills in 2016 as a part-time dishwasher. And I was supposed to be like a short stint and move on. But this company is absolutely wonderful, and being able to grow with it, like being the person now that writes the checks for these farmers, and I've been the farmer, and I know how hard that is to do it right, and knowing that our money is going to those folks really like fills my cup like emotionally, you know? Yeah. So just like doing it that way. And I was supposed to move on, but I think I'm stuck now. Yeah. No, I absolutely love it. And like working for a family like the McKissicks and being able to grow with a company is such a unique experience that a lot of people do not have. So I'm just very grateful to be here now. Yeah, but that's why I'm loud like this. I was outside for forever. This is my first inside job. So yeah.
you know, the farming industry and the restaurant industry are both struggling. What 3 things can we do to help?
So patron your local businesses is like a duh, right? But farmers markets are just starting back up again. Meet people, know their faces, know who you're giving your money to. It like circles. It's so weird with everything that's going on. I feel like I came so far away from like food not bombs, anarchist, baby Meg, and now I've gone full circle. And I'm like, you definitely vote with your fork. You definitely vote with your dollar. It is so important to make sure that you are spending that money where you can. So that is just so important. And like, you know, keep it local as much as you can. And then a big one, honestly, which is for this place as well, because we are in such a touristy space, leaving reviews for your local businesses that you care about. If y'all could leave a review for this place, that would be super awesome. If y'all can leave, you know what I mean? Like I didn't start actively Yelping or using Google reviews until about 2 years ago. And it was truly because I realized, as somebody who sits in managers meetings once a week and goes over the reviews that we get, like, people are so quick to post negative reviews, but not necessarily positive reviews. So when y'all go out to eat, review your restaurants. If y'all can shoot us a Google review, that's awesome. But that is actually
picture.
take a picture. Pictures are big for Google reviews. But yeah, it's actually like it's really helpful. We have an Instagram.
Okay.
We're working on the website. Everything is getting primed to go.
So
It's really exciting, you guys.
Yeah.
Make sure you're following Thrive WNC Women's Entrepreneur Network on Instagram, because that's where we're going to be sending those next events, like moving forward. So May 15th, we have our Mother's Month event, and we're going to have a panel of guests there at Perry Social House. And then June, we have a charcuterie by the creek event. So that'll be a ladies' Mother's Night as well event. So we got a lot of fun things in store with a lot of cool people like Meg. So yeah, just make sure you're following us on Instagram for all the updates.
if you're not a mom, it doesn't matter. Come out anyway in May and in June, because all of us need to get to know each other. And if you're like, for example, I'm a lender, and I think Leanne is. Yes. I don't care. I want her here. You know what I'm saying? This is not a single seat. So bring your friends. Bring anybody you can. If they're women, just bring them. Yeah.
Thank y'all all for coming.
Thank you.
Until next time, farewell, God bless y'all, and don't forget to thank a farmer.